Hello, folks. I am Alan for today's news. I will be reading and speaking about world news, interesting news, news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. What I got for you first here is from the APS, the Associated Press. FDA, two more eye drops brands recalled due to risk. It's out of Washington. U.S. officials are alerting consumers about two more recalls of eye drops due to contamination risks that could lead to vision problems and serious injury. The announcement followed for a recall last month of eye drops made in India that were linked to an outbreak of drug-resistant infections. One person died, and at least five others had permanent vision loss. The Food and Drug Administration posted separate recall notices for certain eye drops distributed by Pharmamedical and Apotex after the companies said they were voluntarily pulling several lots of their products from the market. Okay, let's listen to what this video says here.
Healthcare's recall its eye drops from the US market. This comes after the US Drug Administration said that several people suffered from adverse effects that are possibly associated with the use of the product. The eye drops are not sold in India. Ekta joins us now with the latest. Ekta, yet another Indian pharma company facing regulatory heat.
In another blow to Indian pharma after the Made in Pharma and Marion Biotech incidents, the US drug regulator, the US FDA, and the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, have both issued a warning to consumers to immediately discontinue using an over the counter eye drop in the US manufactured by Tamil Nadu based company Global Pharma due to possible contamination by a drug resistant bacteria. Artificial teardrops are commonly used to treat conditions such as dry eyes and is available without prescriptions. Care Artificial Tears, which is manufactured by Global Pharma, imported to the US by Aru Pharma, has been linked to 55 reports of adverse events in 12 states in the US, including eye infections, permanent loss of vision, and a death with bloodstream infection. Global Pharma is voluntarily recalling all the lots of the artificial teardrops manufactured by the company. The eye drug distributed by New Jersey-based Care LLC and New York-based Delson Pharma in the US was packaged in multi-dose bottles. The US CDC, which is investigating the issue, has said it received reports of infections of the cornea, intraocular fluids, respiratory and urinary tract, and sepsis. Some of the patient outcomes, as per the US CDC, was a permanent loss of vision, hospitalization, and one death due to systemic infection. As per the US CDC, most people with infections reported using at least one of more than 10 brands of artificial tears, and majority of these patients reported using Care's product. Testing of open Care bottles have identified a bacteria which is resistant to a large array of antibiotics. It is expected that the bacteria emerged from contamination either during the use of the drug or during the manufacturing process. Interestingly, Global Pharma's site has been put under import alert by the US drug regulator in January of this year, which means the site is banned from supplying drugs to the US. Sources have indicated that a joint team of 6 central and state drug inspectors rushed to the company's plant located 40 kilometers south of Chennai on Friday evening.
Many thanks for joining us.
Okay, if you want to know more about it, can read more about it. I was reading my eye drops here for Walmart. Don't see any manufacturer names on it, actually. It's just distributed by Walmart Incorporated. Well, anyway, let's see what else we got here. This is from USA Today. Mexican drug cartels are terrorizing Americans. Here's how the U.S. needs to fight back. If you don't know their names, you should. They should be as recognizable as Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein. Their names are, can't say these names here. Cervantes, I can read that part. Ismail Garcia, Anyway, these men and the cartels they command are responsible for killing tens of thousands of Americans every year. They live and operate right in our backyard and have more control and influence over the security of our border with Mexico than the U.S. government. These men lead two of the most dangerous Mexican drug cartels. The cartels are well armed and well funded. They are not street gangs. In fact, they act more like Islamic state terrorist organization than the mob. Then in January, the Mexican military arrested this one son of the notorious cartel leader known as El Chapo. The arrest played out like the battles we saw for years in the Middle East between government armed forces and terrorist groups. And everything I read will be in my description box. If you want to read more about it, then they're in our backyards here. They're controlling the borders, not the U.S. government. Says border communities are increasingly overwhelmed by the influx of migrants who must pay toll to the cartels for the crossing. Cartel members wearing camouflage and carrying long guns are regularly spotted on both sides of the border. And on the news, when I saw them in camouflage, I thought they were military, Mexican military. Well, you can read the rest of this in my description box. I got something else for you, too. This from the Associated Press. Mexico vows not to budge on U.S. corn dispute. Mexico president vowed Tuesday not to back down in a dispute with the United States over a potential ban on imports of genetically modified corn. The U.S. Trade Representative Office announced Monday it had called for conciliation with Mexico over proposed rules that would ban GM corn for human consumption. Mexico has said it could eventually ban it for animal feed as well. Mexico argues that GM corn could somehow harm the health of those who consume animals raised on it, though it has not yet presented any proof of such ill effect. Mexico has previously appeared eager to avoid a major showdown with the United States on the corn issue on Tuesday. Presidents over there continued, but suggested Mexico could still seek to implement on some ban. You can read the rest of this in my description box. Let's see, I want to slide this over here. I want to read this to you too. Newsweek: Mexico warns Biden about crossing red line over Americans killed. President Joe Biden has been warned against intervening in Mexico's domestic affairs by his president amid the latest development in last week's kidnapping of 4 Americans. On Tuesday, Mexican officials announced that 2 of the U.S. citizens who had been kidnapped in a Mexican border city just south of Brownsville, Texas, had been found dead. The other 2 were rescued and returned to the U.S. A suspect is in custody. A suspect. There was more than one. During the daily press conference, Mexican president addressed the news, saying the Mexican authorities were working in cooperation with American counterparts, but that his government wouldn't allow foreign countries to intervene. And you're going to read the rest of that too. Here's something else I want to bring to your attention. This from the Rolling Stone. Gang members hold position at higher levels of LA Sheriff's Department. Investigation reveals. So the gang members, is that the cartels? See, a blistering new official investigation decries violent, lawless deputy gangs that continue to wield extraordinary power within the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. The report delivers a call to action for new Sheriff Robert Luna. It is time to eradicate this 50-year plague upon the county of Los Angeles. The report identified at least a half dozen active groups and names them the executioners, the banditos, the regulators, the Spartans, the gladiators, the cowboys, and the reapers. These groups pose a threat to the general public. Deputies hoping to prove themselves worthy of gang membership routinely seek out violent encounters with the public. The investigation reports, as well as to the internal command and control structure of LASD, the gang's undetermined supervision destroy public trust and discriminatory, disrupted, and act contrary to professional policing policy. Professional policy. The report concludes. Perhaps most alarming, the investigation revealed that in recent years, tattooed deputy gang members have risen to the highest levels of the department leadership. It calls out recent former Sheriff Alex, can you say that name, who lost his 2022 election bid for betraying promises to reform by installing gang members to his right-hand men. So they're using gang. LA Sheriff's Department using gangs. I don't understand it. Really don't. Anyway, you can read the rest of this in my discussion part, box. Here's something from the Jerusalem Post. A planet between Mars and Jupiter could wipe out Earth. A planet between Mars and Jupiter could push Earth out of the solar system and wipe out all life on it, according to the findings of a new equipment. The equipment was concluded. No, a new experiment. The experiment was conducted by researchers of the University of California, Riverside, and the results were published in a peer-reviewed study in the Planetary Science Journal on Tuesday. Gap in size between terrestrial planets and a giant gas planet. One of these is a gap in size between terrestrial planets and giant gas planet. The smallest gas giant is Neptune, which is 4 times wider and 17 times more massive than Earth, the largest terrestrial planet in the solar system, and there is nothing in between. In other star systems, there are many planets with masses in the gap. We call them super Earths and Cain. No, said Cain. Anyway, they're showing the sun here. They're showing Mercurius, Venus, Tano, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Where's Earth? The solar system. See, gap is location. Gap in location relative to the sun between Mars and Jupiter right here somewhere. You continue reading, it won't do nothing. Anyway, let's go on. That's from the Associated Press. U.S. judge strikes down Missouri gun laws as unconstitutional. A Missouri law banning local police from enforcing federal gun laws is unconstitutional and void, a federal judge ruled Tuesday. U.S. District Judge Brian Wims ruled in 2021 law is preempted by the federal government under the U.S. Constitutional Supremacy Clause. At best, this statute causes confusion among state law enforcement officials who are deputized for federal task force operation. At worst, is unconstitutional on its face. Missouri Republican Attorney General Andrew Bailey, in a statement, said he will appeal the ruling. The Missouri law has subjected law enforcement agencies and officers who knowingly enforce federal gun laws without evaluating state laws to a fine of $50,000 per violating officer. Federal laws without similar Missouri laws include statutes covering weapons, registration and tracking, and possession of firearms by some domestic violent offenders. And there's more to read if you want to read that in my description box. Kim's sister says here, issued a rare public threat to the U.S. on her brother's behalf, hinting that she might be gaining influence. So, who is this one here? That's her, the sister. Who's this one? One of her children, I guess. Kim Jong's sister threatened the U.S. against intercepting North Korean missile tests on Tuesday. I read that and all that. The sister threatened the U.S. on Tuesday against intercepting any North Korean missile tests over the Pacific Ocean, calling any interference a declaration of war. It is a rare public warning from Kim Jong and a sign she could be gaining more influence in her brother's government. My mouse card is bothering me. In a rare public warning, she gained. What are you repeating stuff again? It will be regarded as a clear declaration of war against the DPRK in case such military response interception takes place against the test of strategic weapons, Kim says. Her involvement with her brother's government has been a mystery, but she's been more public recently. Meanwhile, tensions have ramped up in the area as the U.S. and South Korean militaries conduct training exercise nearby. The Associated Press reported one drill on Monday involved the U.S. and South Korea flying a B-52 over the Korean peninsula. And here's something here. More than this from Business Insiders. More than 800 stores are closing across the U.S. in 2023. Here's the list. It says an insider tally of announcement of major retailers in 2023 finds at least 884 stores set to close. Let's click this next article here. More than 800 stores closing. Let's see. What stores are they? Amazon, Bath and Body Works, Macy's, Walmart, with Big Lots are among the chains shutting down stores. Bed Bath Beyond is planning to close 416 locations, the most of any retailers on the list. The leading list in the housewares giant Bed Bath & Beyond was once owned more than 1,500 stores across three brands, but is now aiming the end of the year with just 480 locations across the two brands. "416 Bed Bath Beyond stores in the U.S. Being closed, 65 stores in Canada. Tuesday morning, 265 stores closing. Gap and Banana Republic up to 74 stores. Bath and Body, 50 stores. Party City, 22 stores. Best Buy, 20 stores closing. Walmart, 10 stores closing. Amazon, at least 8 stores closing. Big Lot, 7 stores are closing. The Rural, never heard of them, 6 stores are closing. Macy's, 4 stores. JCPenney, 2 stores. And see what we got here. It says here, discount chains Ross, TJ Maxx, and Burlington are planning to add more than 300 new stores. Now, why are some of these stores closing and some are opening? I know there's a new Five Below store is going to open up near me. They're building that one up. All price chains are likely to get boosts in the months ahead as shoppers seek lower prices. That's why. Ross Stores is planning to open 100 new locations this year, while TJ Maxx plans 150 openings, and Burlington as many as 80. You can read the rest of this in my description box. That's what I got for you right now. And hope you like the information. Don't forget to like, subscribe, at least come back once in a while. My voice keeps getting harsh this time of day. So until tomorrow, thanks for watching. Later.